What is the ROI that you should expect from being an Amazon best-selling author? That's a question I get fairly often, so I thought I would answer it the best I can here. I am Michael DeLon, founder and president of Paperback Expert, where we can help you create your book without writing a word, make you an Amazon best-selling author, and then teach you how to turn your book into money by gaining more clients, getting referrals, and growing your revenue. And ROI is very important for a business owner. I get that. My first book, when I published it back in 2013 on marketing, I still use it today to grow my business. So I've been using it for 11 years. It's earned me well over 7 figures over that time. And your book will do the same thing for you because a book has shelf life. You invest in it one time and it pays you back year after year after year. So I thought I would take some time and just share a few stories with you. And as I went to my bookshelf of authors we've helped, we could talk about real estate with Phil Herman. He's in Dayton, Ohio. He's done really well with his book. We could talk about Bob Norton, who's an investing-specific CPA who helps real estate investors save taxes on money, what he's done with his book. Sam Sellers with Finding Freedom at Home. It's a home health care business. Just continued to gain client after client because of the trust he could build by giving copies of his book to prospects. Bankruptcy attorneys, personal injury attorneys. We've got home inspectors. We've got other attorneys. We've done books for a variety of industries. And I just tell you that to let you know that regardless of your industry, a book will definitely bolster your credibility, help you build more trust, and put more dollars in your bank account. So let's talk from most recent backwards. How about that? One of the most recent stories I want to share with you is Lynn Godfrow. She's a financial advisor up in Canada. And when she came to us, she was trying to write this book on her own. And she was struggling with it because life was happening, business was growing, she just couldn't get it done. So she hired us. We helped her in a short few months to get her book published. We came up with her title, Retire on Purpose, positioning her as the financial architect for Canadians, and then created for her plan, her Retire on Purpose plan that she now uses with her clients. So we put all that together. Here's the fun part. We published her book. We promoted her to be an international best-selling author. And then Lynn gave out copies of her book to a number of her prospects and clients. And 2 of those prospects walked back into her office, book in hand. This was within 3 weeks of her publishing her book. And those 2 clients hired her. And when I talked with her about that, she said, Michael, the commissions I'm going to earn from those 2 clients will more than pay for my book. The rest is gravy. And she's just coming out of the gates with this. She's going to be using this book for the next few years to parlay that into a small fortune because she has a book that attracts the attention of her audience. So her ROI is already paid for itself. It's just going to continue to compound year after year after year after year. And speaking of compound interest, another success story is Brad Pistol. He's a financial advisor in Missouri. He's written 2 books with us. And Brad has ordered over 1,100 copies of this book that he published in 2014. And he wrote me an email a while back. He says, Michael, I've sent out about 1,100 copies. About 300 of those people became clients. And he said, if you do the math, that ROI would equate to about 40 times what I invested in my book. And then he came back in 2021 and published Bulletproof. And he believes he's going to take his business to all new levels when he sends out 2 Amazon best-selling books to his prospects and clients. And then I was just going back with talking with a good friend of mine, John Browning. He published an Amazon best-selling book about 3 years ago. And John recently told me that he got another client using his book. I said, great, John, tell me about it. Well, somebody actually went on Amazon, bought his book, read his book. Now, John's in Florida. This prospect was up in like Connecticut or Maine or somewhere way up there. They read John's book and they figured out that John was their guy, and they picked up the phone and they called him and said, John, we want to talk with you. And they became a client. Another story with John is he gives his book out to clients, signs copies to them. We recommend that. He had one of his clients give their copy to a friend of theirs when they were having dinner. That friend read John's book, called John, and became a client. And so John's ROI continues to grow because he makes his book available to his clients. It's on Amazon all the time. And people get it, they read it, they bond with John, and then they hire him. So his ROI continues to grow year after year after year. And then speaking of ROI, one more. This one, I went back and listened to this interview, and it's with Philip Richardson. He's a financial advisor out in the Pennsylvania area, winning at retirement. When he first came to me, he was doing, just a few $1 million a year in annuity business. And after they published their book, they do a lot of seminars. They would take it to the seminar. They'd give it out to people at the seminar. They'd read it. Philip has a compelling story of why he does what he does and how he serves people. His business jumped about threefold. And I just listened to this interview I did with him. He used his book through COVID, pivoted his business to do online workshops and things. And the brilliant guy that he is, as soon as somebody registered for the webinar, he'd mail them a copy of his book before the webinar, and he found that his attendance at his webinar went up to about 80% of the people who registered. 80% showed up, and a lot of those people became clients because they read his book and they bonded with him. And he told me, he says, Michael, the value of my book is not in all the strategies I share. It's in that first story of Helen, his mother-in-law, and how they cared for her and why he does what he does. And that is so true. Philip, if you talk to Philip, his ROI is off the charts. It's approaching infinite because he's earned so much business from this book, and he continues to earn. He told me he's reordered hundreds and hundreds of copies, and that is true for many of our authors, because we will tell you to put your book in the hands of every prospect and client and center of influence you can. You want to become a household name. And when you position yourself properly and you tell your story, and we'll help you do that with our professional writers, we're going to help you create a book that will really capture the attention of your audience and compel them to take a step towards you. And when they do, they're going to know you, like you, trust you. And you're going to find that you're going to be able to gain clients much more quickly. And those clients are going to tell other people about you. And that's how you're going to continually have an increasing ROI that, may reach an infinite level, because it is incredible how a book positions you differently and how it's going to last for years. As we like to say, a book has shelf life. It's going to be around. It's an asset you invest in one time, and it pays you back year after year after year. So if you're considering becoming an author, why don't you reach out and let's have a conversation, and we'll talk about how we can help you create your book without writing a word, and then use your book to gain more clients and grow your revenue. I look forward to talking with you soon.